Hey up. Italian horror films, video nasties, those are two things that I'd like to think that this channel does best, but we haven't covered all of them, because we generally stick to releases and collections. There are quite a few that have sort of escaped me over the years and that I would like to take a look at. So I headed over to the shelves and rummaged through stuff that I either hadn't seen before or just something that I hadn't talked about on the channel, and I think I picked a good one. This episode we're checking out Anthropophagous, a film that I've never even seen before. In fact, I've never even seen a clip of this film before. Maybe in like a countdown of top 100 disturbing films or something like that, but as far as I can remember, this film is completely new to me. But it's got quite the reputation. It's Italian, it was a video nasty, and it's gone down as quite notorious for being pretty extreme. So let's have a look and see what all the fuss is about, shall we? Anthropophagous, or The Savage Island, is an Italian slasher from 1980, directed by Joe D'Amato, and that's a name you may well recognise. We've covered a few of his films on this channel before. We covered Emmanuel and the Last Cannibals and Papaya Love Goddess, two of his sexploitation films, and I've never actually seen one of his horror films before. So it's about time we rectified that, I think, as he's a bit of a name with Italian horror. The film was written by George Eastman, who wrote Stage Fright, which it's probably one of my favourite films from the Shameless collection and from the Vipco collection as well. It's a really, really good giallo, so that's a good sign, because he wrote this, and he also stars in this as well. He plays the titular main killer. Interesting stuff. Let's see what we've got. Our opening sequence is a German couple on holiday on a remote island. They both get killed off by someone or something that has great lung capacity and a butcher's knife. Straight in with the gore. We love to see it. We then cut to our main characters, and there's a few of them, so I'm just going to sort of run through these quickly. I have them written down because I keep forgetting. There's Tisa Farrow, who plays Julie. She's our lead character, and she may look familiar to you, mostly because she looks just like her sister Mia Farrow, but also because she was in Zombie Flesh Eaters, which we've already covered on the channel before. Then there's Carol. She's a psychic, and she's played by Zora Kerov, who's, again, you may recognise because she's been in a few films we've covered on here before. She was in Cannibal Ferox and New York Ripper. And then there's Maggie, the pregnant one, and she's played by Serena Grande. And she's been in a bunch of things, but nothing that really stood out to me, nothing that I recognised anyway. So yeah, there are three main women, and then there's three dudes, and they all just blend into one, honestly. None of them really stood out, and picking out people's names wasn't particularly easy for them. I kept confusing them with each other. The actors who play them haven't really been in anything either, so nothing really worth mentioning there. The women carry this film, basically, and the guys are just sort of there in the background. But anyway, they're a group on holiday heading to an island. They meet Julie for the first time, and she suggests that they go with her to a more remote island where her friends live, because that's where she's heading. Great idea. We then spend time on a boat. There's awkward boat steering, weird tarot card reading, and some relationship problems. Carol gets a bad omen from the island, and as soon as they land it seems that she might be right, as Maggie hurts her leg and has to stay behind on the boat while the others discover that the island is completely empty. Not good. So far with this film, so good. It's got a really nice feel to it, and I'd even go so far as to say it's kind of cosy. It's got a slower pace, there's a nice grain to the film, there's a softness to the image. It's not too dark, there's some nice, bright, warm scenes, and the characters, yeah, they're alright. They're not annoying, like a lot of these films. The characters can sometimes be kind of grating, but if anything, these are maybe a little bland. But yeah, so far, at this point in the film, I was pretty comfy, and just enjoying myself, yeah. But obviously I have heard this is quite an extreme film, so I'm curious as to where this one goes. So while the gang are all wandering around, Maggie gets kidnapped by an unseen assailant, and the boat gets undocked and sails out to sea, stranding the group. The group also stumble upon a messed up looking corpse in what is an actually decent jump scare. There's also this creepy woman who keeps looking through windows and disappearing. They find the boats left and head to a house for the night. There's a noise though, so Julie and one of the men go to investigate. And at this point I want to mention that every time someone in this film uses like a candle or a lantern, some sort of fire light source, someone from behind the camera shines a torch on them to make it look like the flame is casting like more glow, and it just looks super unnatural and weird, but it is kinda charming. Down in the basement, a girl jumps out of a barrel and attacks one of the dudes. The girl is blind and she's pretty shook up, so they decide to care for her as well as tend to the wounds that she's caused. More romantic tension later, and Carol runs off in a huff. Julie chases, but loses her in a graveyard. And the sets are really impressive here. We get a massive variety of things. The graveyard looks great, the house looks really good, the boat section, there's so many little areas, and there's more to come in this as well. And it just adds like an extra level of sort of production value to this. Usually these just take place in like 1 or 2 sound stages and like an old building, but you've got a nice variety here and it's really cool. Okay, so from this point on I am going to start spoiling this film pretty heavily, so if you don't want things ruined for you, jump to this timestamp here, okay? Cool. The guy who got stabbed is watching over the blind girl, and here we finally get to see the man himself, Anthropophagous. And I want to talk about his design actually, because I really like it. It's off and uncanny. It is kind of cheap, but there's like an uncanniness. It's not just some sort of like big crazy monster, and it's not just a guy who wears a mask or something like that. It's somewhere in between, and I like it. I do think that most of the time though, it looks like one of the wet bandits from Home Alone who's been electrocuted, but still, there's a charm to it, and yeah, it's something a little different. I like it. He kills the injured guy by eating his throat and runs off. Skipping forward slightly, they eventually find Carol. She'd been staying with that creepy lady who looks through windows, and she's not in the film much longer. Meanwhile, one of the guys has found a cave filled with skeletons. And if you've been watching this channel for a little while, you know that I have a soft spot for skeletons, so I was very happy with this bit. He finds Maggie in this cave and helps her escape. Meanwhile, Julia's found a secret room behind a mirror with corpses and books in it. The corpse makeup is really good in this film. It really stands out. It's nice and gooey and all the corpses look different, which, yeah, it's always a positive thing, that. We get Anthropophagous' backstory here as well, where apparently he was stuck on a raft with his family, so he ate them and went mad. Back in Skeleton Cave, Maggie and Man are trying to escape when who should arrive but Porridge Face himself, Anthropophagous. And this section is the most notorious section from the whole film, which involves Anthropophagous taking Maggie's baby out and giving it a nibble. And I cannot show this at all. YouTube would have a massive go at me if I tried to show any of this bit, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty decent. The gore holds up pretty well in this. It's nicely shadowed as well, so you can't quite make out what you're seeing, but you get the gist of what it is. And a lot of things like this, the implication is better than just seeing it full on, I think. And yeah, works pretty effective. Back in the secret room, and Carol bursts in as she's been killed as well. Then Julie and the blind girl rush to the attic. Mr. Pophagus bursts through the roof though and takes a bite out of the blind girl. Now it's the tense showdown between Julie and Anthropophagous, and it all takes place in a well, which is kind of a weird setting, but the whole ladder section was kind of tense and effective. They get up to the surface, and when all hope seems lost, a dude who hasn't been killed and who I completely forgot about bursts in with an axe, chopping Anthropophagous in the chest. All his guts spill, he eats his own guts, and then we just sort of abruptly end. I liked this one. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. I've seen some mixed reviews online. People generally saying that it's a bit dull and a bit boring. I can see that. Maybe some scenes could do with a bit of trimming here and there, but honestly I didn't mind it. It's got a sort of a 70s pace, I guess you could say. It reminded me of Evil Dead, I guess, the original Evil Dead, because the first half of that film, nothing really happens. It is just build up to then the big crazy back half. And I don't mind that. You get to know the characters a little bit better, you get to see the environments, there's more of a creepiness to it. Sometimes that can fall completely flat, and I'd say that that usually falls flat when the payoff isn't worth it. And in this one, it is. On top of like the organicness, the sort of cozy feel, I have a nostalgia for this sort of film, so I did feel quite comfortable like laying down on the sofa and watching this. But then you've got the extreme violence to sort of kick you into gear at the end. And while like in a world of Terrifier and stuff like that, it's not going to blow you away, for the time, it's pretty good, it's pretty effective. And I guess that leads us nicely into the video nasty side, because this was a Section 1 video nasty, which is big boy video nasty. You know, this is banned, heavily cut, all the works. And you look back at a lot of these video nasties and you think, why was this a video nasty? There's nothing in it. So now the question is did this film warrant being banned and such? And I don't know. I'd say yeah, more than anything. I'd say, obviously, like, to today's standards, it's pretty tame, but back then, things like the baby eating and eating the guts, cannibalism just in general, I can see why it caused more of, like, a stir. I'd say it warrants it more than some of the other films that we've looked at that were video nasties. Probably more controversially, though, is how the hell do you spell the title for this film? So the Blu-ray that I have spells it like this, but then online I've seen it spelt like this and like this as well, and they all mean the same thing. It's either a verb or a noun, and they both mean man-eater, which makes sense, but there's just no consensus on which way it should be spelt, which is going to be a nightmare for titling this video. Oh well, I guess we'll never know. That's the true mystery of this film. So let's talk about the legacy then, shall we, as well? Because this spawned some things. So we have a sort of spiritual sequel coming out the year after called Absurd, and this was also directed by Joe D'Amato, was also a video nasty, and also has George Eastman involved as the killer and I think the writer for it as well. So that one sounds really interesting to me. It's only a spiritual sequel, it's not a direct one, but it sounds like it's a pretty decent like video nasty slasher in its own right, so I definitely check that one out. Then in the year 2000, Andrei Schnaz, who is a name you may well recognise because he directed the film Demonium that I covered in my hard gore collection. He directed Demonium. He directed a remake/sequel, a German remake/sequel called Anthropophagous 2000. So yeah, Demonium was Millennium Trash through and through, so I'm curious to see a Millennium Trash version of Anthropophagous, even though it would just sort of miss out, but I imagine the sort of sentiment and the directing style is probably still present in it. Really weird, really low budget by the looks of it as well. And then another sequel was released, and I'm going to have to double check this guy's name. So it was directed by a guy called Dario Germani, and it was directed in 2022 of all years. So it's a really recent sequel. It's just called Anthropophagous 2, and looking at it, it looks trashy as oh. The director has done nothing that I recognise, but they're all very low-rated films. And yeah, it looks really bad, like really bad. If you are interested in me reviewing Anthropophagous 2000 and Anthropophagous 2, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do a little video on weird Anthropophagous sequels. But Absurd is probably something that I will just cover anyway, because it is interesting. Okay, let's sum this one up then, shall we? I really liked it. For a video nasty especially, it was really good. A lot of these video nasties, going back to them now, they've not aged particularly well, but I liked this one. Yeah, it's got a lot more going for it than some of the other ones. I can see people maybe not liking the slower pace, maybe finding it boring, but I always think if the payoff's good enough, then the slow build-up, I don't mind it. It was pretty chill. And there's plenty to look at in this. There's plenty of cool environments and things. I'd say that if you're a fan of video nasties or extreme films, then this is worth checking out. You'll probably get something from this. And if you're a fan of Italian horror even, this might tick a few boxes for you. I watched the 88 Films version. This is one of the newest releases that they did. They've been reissuing a lot of these. This, you know, and it's good. It's really good. It's fully uncut. The print's nice. It doesn't lose the sort of grain and stuff like that, but it's nice and clear and stable. And yeah, it's a nice little package. So that's worth grabbing if you're interested in this film and you can find it on offer. I think I got it on offer. I think it was like half price when I got it. And yeah, decent, really good. So thanks for watching. This is obviously me experimenting with formats again. I'm still like open to suggestions and stuff. If you have any suggestions, pointers or criticisms, then just let me know in the comments. And also if you have any recommendations for films, if you want to see me cover any video nasties or extreme horror films or anything like that, let me know in the comments. I am open to suggestions. I'm going to step to the side so that I can thank the patrons that are now on screen right now, and the members as well. It really means a lot that you guys are supporting me and my channel. There's also a link down there for those who are interested in joining up. There's plenty of things going on Patreon and for members, and yeah, everything goes towards buying these films that I can review for you. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.